All right, today I'm going to take about a 20-minute drive. I need to go pick up some supplements from GNC, and I'm going to be testing FSD Beta 10.3.1. Let's go. Navigate to GNC Cool Springs. This one. And we are off. I like this widescreen view that's available when you're navigating on autopilot on city streets. It's pretty neat. One thing I've noticed with this software is that it seems to be especially jumpy about the high contrast shadows on the road. So you'll see that speed number drop down by 3 or 6 miles per hour, so we call that phantom braking. Alright, here's a cool example. Somebody turning in here. Well done. It hugs the middle slightly more than I would like, and I'm not the only one who has noted that. Looking clear. This is always a little congested here, and it usually handles it pretty well. By the way, if you can't see my hands at all times, don't worry. I am being very careful. I'm holding the steering wheel at all times. It's very important to be as engaged as possible with your drive while testing FSD Beta software, because it can do very unexpected things very suddenly. You must expect that at all times. It's waiting for our turn. That's cool. And now it's our turn. This could get interesting. I may have to disengage depending how it handles this parked vehicle. Oh, it's braking. It's going around. Oh, gripped a little too tight there, but it was handling it fine. Even with the oncoming traffic, it was going around safely. Frankly, a little faster than I would have preferred, but it still handled it fine. Here comes a left turn. This one's always adventurous. Let's see how we do. There's a stop sign. Oncoming traffic, turning traffic. I will probably have to disengage. This is a classic issue with this build of the software, but we will see how far it gets. Often it will creep out too far into the road with oncoming traffic, but hopefully not this time. Nope, don't like it. There was traffic coming this way. And while technically it has the acceleration performance to get out of the way, I think that would have been a little close for the traffic coming from the right. So I will handle this turn myself and re-engage right here. Left turns are one of its biggest Achilles heels. You must really be paying attention during the left turns. So this will be a mix of secondary streets driving here, a lot of roads like this one, and a little bit of interstate travel, and then some congestion as well near our final destination. Nice. We'll probably see some phantom braking on this road just because it's very shadowy today due to the low angle of the sun and the bright day. So watch this speed number here just going up and down randomly. Beautiful day for a test drive. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I don't believe there are a whole lot of beta testers in this area. I only know of a couple, and one of them is one of the non-safety score testers, but this is a fairly unrepresented area as far as data collection goes, so I'm happy to be engaged with the program now as someone who joined with a 99 safety score last Sunday. I think it was the second to last Sunday of October 2021. Let me know what you think of this first-person view. Does it give you a good idea of what it's like to test FSD Beta? Is it easy to see what's going on? Let me know what you think. I'm filming in 1080p with 60 frames per second just because I feel like the quality on the Osmo Pocket, which is what I'm using strapped to my forehead, gets a little iffy on the 4K and the dynamic lighting situations, Tesla, that come up when you're driving. I do have a wide angle lens that I can attach to it, but I feel like it impacts the image quality a little bit negatively. Maybe we'll try that in another drive. So for those of you who are anxiously awaiting the 98s and below, or perhaps you recently got a 99 or 100 on the safety score system, just know the software will randomly do things that put you in danger. So I would recommend being very responsible with this, not approaching it from a, hey, I paid for FSD and I want my FSD software attitude. Instead, understand that you will probably be annoyed by this quite a bit, even though it is somewhat practical to use. Understand it's not necessarily a practical tool yet. But if, like me, you're an early adopter and you love technology and you're okay with taking over the controls at surprising instances, oh, that was a little swerve there, random. If you're okay with taking over at surprising instances, that's you'll be all right. Let's see if this gives this truck enough room here, and it is. Well done. Nice. That is not easy. All right, it is our turn now, and it has decided to go. Wow. That's not an easy situation. Whoa, middle of the road there, buddy. It swerved. It's probably not super obvious in the video, but it swerved over the line by about probably 6 inches or so with oncoming traffic. All right, this turn is tricky. Let's see how it does. All right, slowing down a bit much. A little bit nervous behavior by it, but it navigated it great. Probably like a learner's permit teenage driver is how I would describe that handling of that situation there. Notice it shows trash can bins on the screen here, and it also shows cones. It is very enthusiastic about showing trash can bins and cones, and is even better at spotting them than I am. It's humorous. My wife and I say that the Tesla has a little bit of a fetish for the cones, and it gets really excited when it sees them, and it really does seem to have a personality sometimes. If you do not own a Tesla, just know that you will probably begin to kind of anthropomorphize your car a little bit. You'll kind of feel like it has human-like qualities and a personality, and those personalities change with software updates. A little slow here at 40 miles per hour. We got people really on my tail, so I'm going to go up to 45, help them out a little bit, and challenge the autopilot a bit more. regular autopilot, the current build, the public build, it is only going to let you go 5 miles per hour over the speed limit. But people generally fly down this road, and I'm going to drive a cultural 47. You can actually increase your speed above the normal autopilot limitations with FSD. So take that wisely, don't do anything crazy, and understand that I'm going 7 over here because that is what everybody does. And I don't want to be tailgated in case I'm going to have a phantom braking situation. Let's see if it handles a turn lane properly up here. Turn lanes are a challenge for this build of FSD, I've noticed, and many others have commented the same. So it's choosing the right turn lane, which is good. It's getting over early. Very human-like behavior. All right, now we have a red, and someone stopped there, and now they're going. It's creeping forward, checking for visibility, and it sure does like to pull close to traffic here, so I've got my foot on the brake just in case. No, don't go yet. Tesla. All right, it's clear and it's going. Very nice, very human-like. It is yeeting out of that turn with significant acceleration, about how much acceleration I would do myself. But I drive a little bit harder than most people do. Note that I have the assertiveness of the autopilot set on average, not assertive. This is the only method that I have tested this on so far. These are my settings for you settings spotters out there. Generally, roads like this, it gets pretty boring on, which is a good thing. You want it to be a boring, human-like drive that is completely unremarkable. In the future, watching this video 5 years down the road, this will seem kind of silly riding around in full self-driving and filming it from the first person, because by then it will be one of the most boring things that you could possibly film. But now it's something new and exciting, and something that is history in the making, even if it is buggy and tries to murder sometimes. In the future it will be super, super boring, and a lot of the other cars will be driving themselves as well. So, especially by 2030, so the potential for unpredictable situations will continue to go down rapidly. They're behind a Model 3 right now, a local Tesla. This area of Nashville has a tremendous number of Teslas. This area is known as Brentwood, and they are so unremarkable here that I never get a wave back in this area of town. They're like, why are you waving at me? Yes, you're in a Tesla, but what's new about that? Other areas of Tennessee, you can wave at other Tesla drivers, and they will often wave back. This is a really beautiful part of Nashville too. If you're looking at Nashville or Middle Tennessee as a place to potentially move, Brentwood, look it up. It's one of the nicest areas of Middle Tennessee, and compared to places such as Illinois, California, and New York, it is very desirable. The cost of living here is still quite competitive, even though most locals would say Brentwood is very, very expensive. And this is a rather boring segment so far. Let's see if it moves over quickly into this other lane. Most humans would if they're getting on the interstate, but this is not. It's going to wait till it's closer to the on-ramp to move over, and things get a little bit competitive here driving wise, so we will see if someone lets us in. Note the E63 AMG up there. If I still drove gas cars, that would be what I would drive. I love the E63. It is one of my favorite platforms as far as high performance gas powered cars go. But I don't see myself ever owning a gas car again. I really hate driving them at this point. Most of my car friends really make fun of me for that sort of thinking, but EVs, man, once you're a Tesla driver, it's hard to go back. I really wish it would go ahead and move over. It would make sense to pass this truck and get in the lane, but hey, at least it's still being pretty boring. And bump that speed up to 50. Again, people fly through here. It's a 45 speed limit that is enthusiastically enforced. We've got a yellow light. It is making the conservative decision to slow down as soon as it sees the yellow and stop smoothly, which is nice behavior to see. Most drivers through here would accelerate through that as soon as they see it turn yellow. This is the radio tower to 650 WSM, the original radio station home of the Grand Ole Opry, a long-running country music live show that is broadcast from Nashville. And that's the tower for it. It's enormous, and it's a landmark anywhere south of Nashville. Being able to see that is a way to tell where you are. And it's actually a pretty cool tower design too, showing off the panoramic roof here of the Model X. Alright, so this is really kind of decision point to go ahead and move over into the right lane. I'm going to be somewhat annoying to my neighbors here in that I'm going to try to get into this lane quite late. Alright, and I have space, but we have almost stopped traffic here, so I'm going to have to slow way down to do it. Are you going to go? You got your blinker on. That was thankfully unremarkable. Very easy. Well done, FSD. I liked that much more than I thought I would. Now this is a yield. We must yield to any traffic that is turning from that lane onto the interstate. There's actually a yield sign for this on-ramp, so we'll see how handles that if it becomes a challenging situation. And we're going to go ahead and get on the on-ramp. Could stand to be a bit more aggressive here, but there's nobody waiting for me on the on-ramp. I'm going to go ahead and push on the accelerator pedal just a little bit to go ahead and ease it through here. This is the first time I pushed on the accelerator for here. Yield, yield, yield. Wait, wait. Good Tesla. Alright, now it's stopping and we can go, and it's going. That was pretty impressive, frankly. Scared me a little bit because it really wanted to yeet, but it slowed down and stopped and waited. I use Yeet a lot. I have a much cooler and more hip wife than I am, and so she uses the term Yeet quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and press on the accelerator just to get out of the way of this truck. Whoa! It really wanted to keep moving over into that other lane. Yeet comes to mind again, and that was a disconnect. So, back on. It still uses the old navigate on autopilot for the highway, and that system's logic has always kind of annoyed me in the way that it passes other vehicles. I can't say that I'm a huge fan of the decisions it makes. Like, why would you try to pull out in front of this person? No, we don't need to get over. And also, nobody's going to let us over. Silly Tesla. I mean, look at this. It's just sitting here with its blinker on. trying to pass something that's barely slower and actually accelerating away from us, and we still need to get over in 1.8 miles. But since this is a video describing autopilot behavior, and look at that, it wants to get right back over, I'm going to let it do its thing. Normally I would not let it do this because it's so annoying. All right, good job, you got in everybody's way. I'm a very conscientious driver. I am always thinking about, am I annoying other drivers? And I try not to annoy them, and I try to stay out of everybody's way. Maybe that's a personality defect, but the Tesla is kind of bumbling on the interstate. It doesn't really seem to care if it's going to be annoying the meat suits in the vehicles around it. I think the logic will get better with single stack. You'll see single stack talked about quite a bit in the autopilot nerd world, and what that is this logic being built the same way as the navigate on city streets autopilot. You'll notice this looks totally different on the screen than it looks while we're not on the interstates. So when single stack comes, hopefully it will have a little bit better logic about how to pass other vehicles and when. But until then, this is what we live with. It is functional, and you can customize how aggressive it is, and you can tune it a little bit to your liking. But even then, sometimes it does stuff that annoys both me and the people around me. All right, we are 3 minutes from our destination. Thank you for riding with me today on an FSD test. We've only had a few disengagements. It's done a few things quite impressively, and it's done a few things quite annoyingly, which is your typical FSD Beta drive right now. Once we get to FSD 11 and the single stack, hopefully that will improve. But frankly, I'm impressed that a car can drive itself to this extent. It is using cameras and vision only, as well as a AI neural net to make decisions. And while it seems like a teenage driver sometimes, it is impressive that it is even able to do that, to me anyway. I think this will be the path that solves full self-driving. Now we need to get over into the left lane. I don't know if autopilot realizes that yet, but this right lane must turn right, and it's actually going to hold some people up if it doesn't hurry up and move over. All right, blinker is on. Good, good. Let's see if it goes. Now's the time to yeet, if you're gonna yeet. There we go. Nice. All right, so cruising through the yellow, good choice. We got somebody, oh, I had to push on the accelerator there. It wanted to stop in the intersection. That's kind of silly. But here's our turn. I thought I was going to go through that yellow, but then it turned red as it was most of the way through the intersection, and it was like, yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and stop in the intersection here. So I had to push the accelerator. All right, I am picking up supplements from Paul Stamets' company. I'm getting the My Community immune system boosting mushroom-based supplement. Big fan of that. Now this road here doesn't have a stop, so we're gonna have to see how it handles this. All right, it's clear. You can go. 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 Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. We can go. We can go. Don't hit that person. Don't hit that person. It's very nervous. It's very jerky, but it did it. Nice. All right, it just slammed on the brakes because it wants to turn here, and there's oncoming traffic. Are we gonna turn? Are we gonna just run into traffic? You're making me a little nervous by your nervousness, my dear. All right, I think it's gonna turn into this parking lane here. Look at the steering wheel. It's just like zooming all over the place. And this is GNC. I'm gonna go ahead and stop here because this is where I will park. And by the way, parking has never really worked great for me. The auto park feature, I don't know what's up with that. Maybe I just don't know how to activate it, but I've only ever seen the option a couple of times, and it has worked well when I've used it, but has been wanting. All right, that was our FSD Beta drive. Thanks for riding with me. Thank you for listening to my banter. And this is my setup here, here in the rear view mirror. It's kind of dorky looking, but it gets the job done in a safe manner. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what your thoughts are on this drive. Love FSD. Do you have it? Are you going to get it? Do you have a Tesla? Do you want a Tesla? Let me know your thoughts. I love engaging with the community. I read all of your comments and I try to respond to them all too, as long as you're at least reasonably human. Love y'all. Have a good one.